so naturally the timing has to be right. She has to fucking fall back while she's firing, and let the gun go without fucking letting it hit her in the head, and act like she's been shot in the head, so a little bit of performance. But, there's a couple things going on there. We did 5 or 6 takes, and everything wouldn't match up until the 6th take. Finally, she was firing, she did the I got hit thing, and they yanked. And I felt like I could work with it. I was like, I could cut around it and shit like that. I'll make it work. So I'm like, that's it, we're going to go to the next thing. And she's like, no, wait, you didn't get it. And I was like, I got enough that I needed, man. We're going to do this other piece, we're going to go close on you firing the gun, and then you just give me the head flip and I can cut into that other shot. And she's like, but I want it to be perfect. And I was like, don't worry about it, man. Editing will take care of it, shit. I was like, now take off the harness, we're going to get the pads out of here, we're just going to do close up you firing the guns and shit. So we move the pads out, the stunt pads and whatnot, and all she's doing now, no harness, she's not going to get pulled, she's going to stand there, shoot the gun, go like that, and then we cut. So she's standing there, I'm watching her in the monitor. I'm watching how you direct movies, you watch a little TV. And I was watching her in the monitor, and there she is in the frame, and she's like, brr, brr, and then all of a sudden she does the head throw back, and launches herself 2 feet backwards. So I'm looking at this little frame, and all of a sudden my wife disappeared, and I was like, what happened to Jen? It's just fucking gone. And all I hear then is Ben, who is is one of the stunt coordinators in the movie, Ben Jensen. I hear Ben go, Jen, you fucking idiot. Now, for somebody, on a crew to call my wife a fucking idiot, one of 2 things has to be going on. A, they're trying to get fired, or B, she's being a fucking idiot. And when I got over, I found out it was B. They're right next to her head on the roof of where we were, she's on the roof of the Cooper Clan compound right now at this point. Boom, she's been shot. There she is lying on the roof. Right next to her head is a pipe sticking up out of the roof, some sort of ventilation PVC pipe, really fucking thick. And if she'd gone back like maybe this much more, she just lands on her fucking brainstem or something like that. It would have been horrible. There were no pads. She wasn't supposed to go backwards. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? He's right. You are a fucking idiot, man. Why would you do that? You could have been fucking killed. And just like any actor or actress on the planet, she's like, did it look good? And I was like, yeah, we'll use it, but don't do that again. So she, we did everything in movies is shot piecemeal. She didn't know who she was shooting at or who was shooting at her, so she had no fucking clue. So I would edit the movie at night after we were done shooting and shoot all day. I'd go home and edit the flick by myself upstairs in the living room. And I would call her every once in a while, come watch footage and shit. She likes the movie quite a bit. She hasn't really liked anything else I've ever done, at varying degrees. But I remember giving her a script for Jake and Silent Bob Strike Back, and she read it. She was like, this is a movie for little boys. And I was like, fuck you. And she's like, can I be in it? I was like, come on up, come watch a scene. I cut the scene together. She's like, okay. She comes upstairs, she goes sit down, she sits down on the couch next to me and stuff. She's like, what are we watching? I said, watch, this is the Top of the Crown sequence. She's like, ooh, it's everything from when Aben goes, Mordecai, Top of the Crown, all the way to Jen getting killed and shit. So she's like, did you take it all the way to the end and me getting killed? I said, dude, just watch. And I pressed play. Now, the important thing to remember is that in our household, there are 2 sitcoms to which we go to bed to nightly. One is News Radio, starring Stephen Root, who played the sheriff in our movie, plays Jimmy James in that show, and the other is Roseanne, starring John Goodman. That's how movies get cast. At least that's how I cast movies. It ain't about who's hot, who's very famous, who can we get, who's going to bring people to the box office. For me, it's always like, who do I see all the time that I like? I'm like, oh, these guys. So they're in the flick with her. She doesn't know what the combination is. She didn't really have any scenes with them or anything like that. So we sit down and I start playing the sequence, and she's like, oh, this is cool. All the editing is cool. Made her look kind of badass and she liked it. She's like, I look tough. And then she gets up to the fucking rooftop, boom, they start firing and shit. All of a sudden, off the tip of her gun, you see, and we kind of trace over to Stephen Root getting shot. And so right away, he was the sheriff in the car. She fucking freaked. She's like, I killed Jimmy James! And I was like, wait for it. And then mere seconds later, John Goodman picks up the gun, he's like, and takes Jen out. And she was like, So it was a kind of fucking neat, man. She got into it. It was cool. It was kind of cool. It was nice to do something that she was proud of and kind of into and whatnot. She's like, this doesn't look like anything you've ever done before. And I was like, is that a good thing? She's like, oh yeah. So it was easy, man. It was easy, oddly enough, getting her to be churchy. Thanks, man. Hey.
Hey, man. My girl and I flew from Boston to see you, and bravo, man.
Thank you, but we were in Boston.
Yeah, I was on tour when you went there. So
oh, okay. Well, thanks for coming.
I'm not missing.
You should have just called me. I would have sent you a copy.
I tried. But I had a question. I know that you plan to stop filming as a director after your next film.
Yes.
However, I know that you've oftentimes left yourself an out in your absolutes, such as Jay and Silent Bob.
Right.
Is there a chance that maybe if the right one comes along, you might jump back in the seat, or maybe just continue writing?
No. I mean, look, I'm not saying I'll never direct again. There may be a play I want to direct. Someone may say, like Reaper, hey, you want to shoot this pilot, direct the pilot? I may think about doing that or something like that. I may shoot webisodes or something like that one day if I get into it. But right now, when I say like I'm done directing, I mean I'm done directing theatrical films, making a movie, putting it in a movie theater, that whole fucking thing. The job that I'm primarily known for the last almost 20 years, that's the one I want to stop. And there's no like escape clauses, there's no like, you know, I said this, but what I meant was, you know, I'm just done, man. I reached a point where, let me see, it's going to be August. This coming August, it will be 20 years since the first moment I sat in an art house multiplex, the Angelica movie theater, Angelica Cinema, I guess rather it's called, in New York on Housden, and watched Richard Linklater's Slacker on my 21st birthday. And at the end of that movie, I sit there going, oh my God, this is what I want to do. I'd never thought about being a filmmaker before. At that point, I swear, my biggest ambition in life was to own a deli because I knew how to make a sandwich. So for me, I'm going like, I watch Slacker and I'm like, oh my God, this is spellbinding. Like this, if this counts as a movie, I want to make movies, you know? And it wasn't really a slam, it was just Richard made it seem approachable. Suddenly it wasn't like very expensive car chases, movie stars. It was just a dude in Bumblefuck, Texas, turned out to be Austin. But Bumblefuck, Texas, like following people with a camera. One person would talk to another person, and one of those people would leave, meet another person. And they would talk to those people, and then that person we went with stayed behind, we meet another person, go with them. There was no main character, it just kind of rolled along like an indie film. And I walked out of that and I was just like, this is what I want to do for a living. Man, that's what I want to do. I want to make films. Like I think I'll be a filmmaker. This August, it'll be the 20th anniversary of that. And I don't know about anybody else, but when you put 20 years into anything, that's pretty good. But you tend to run out of gas. I've emptied the tank on everything I did. Some people will tell you like, bullshit, cop out suck. But I especially had to empty the tank on the tougher ones. You know, it's easy to not empty the tank when you're having a good time and everybody wants to be there and shit. Tougher movies require a lot more emptying of the tank. But on every flick, man, I've always poured myself into it, heart and soul. Like, I've never been the guy that's like, I shot it and walk away or something. I shoot it and I cut it. And I cut it and I market it. And I market it and I go out and Q&A. And I go out and Q&A and I go out and do the DVD as well and put everything into it. Like, I stay very involved. You do that for 20 years, sooner or later, you're just empty. Sooner or later, there's nothing really left to give in that department. You've hit a point where you're like, I think I've said everything I can possibly say in cinema. And the reason for that is because I don't think I was ever supposed to be a director. In fact, I'm sure I wasn't supposed to be a director. It was a fucking fluke, man. It was a very rich man who sold his company to a mouse. And then a bunch of people criticized him and said like, oh, your movies are going to become soft now and shit. And this dude was like, well, I got to send a message real quick that tells people that like, even though Miramax has been bought by Disney, we'll still put out fucking horrible, scrappy little American independent films and stuff like that. Where can I find one? And there we were, Sundance 94, Clerks, a movie that he had already passed on, Harvey Weinstein. But all of a sudden, we fit into an agenda. And he heard the audience laughing. You know, he was at the last screening at Sundance, and it was a pretty powerful screening. So that dude put two and two together. He was like, boom. And suddenly, I wound up in the movie business. But if I'd made that movie a year before or a year after, that never would have happened. I wasn't supposed to be in the movie business. I was supposed to make Clerks, and maybe make one other one. Once people saw that we knew how to make a movie, kinda, they'd give us money to make Dogma. So I had 2 movies planned. That's it. Clerks and Dogma. I didn't have a whole career planned. That's all I wanted to do. Clerks wound up being what it was. They kicked open the door, man, and suddenly every day was like winning the lottery. I've often compared it to, like I like